Hello and welcome to Patched. I'm your host Paul James. Today I'm joined by Matto Phillips and our one true host, Damo Camilleri. As he quietly dies. Today we're talking about the 7, and not the player 2 uses numerical review scores. We're better than that. But yeah, the numerical review score, and I don't know, like the review scale, I guess, and how it's received, and what a 7 out of 10 even means, because we've had a few high-profile games getting discussed recently for their scores, Metacritic scores of being in the mid to low 70s in Days Gone and Rage 2 most recently. Both games have reviewed in that sort of ballpark by critics anyway. Then you get plenty of gamers out there going, but the game's great. And then you get others shouting, but it's a 7 out of 10. Like, what the hell is going on? Because we've got this review scale, like a numerical one that goes from 0 to 10 or 0 to 100, whether you're using 0.1 or whatever it is you choose to do. But either way, it's all about the same. Why is it that it seems like it's only games? You look at Metacritic and like a bad movie gets a 30, a 40, maybe even lower. But games are bad. Like, we perceive a bad game to be 70, mid 70s, 75 or below. Really, what the hell's actually going on? What's the issue here?
I don't know.
Anyone got any ideas and things we can contribute to that sort of discussion? Is the review scale broken?
No, it's the perception. That. Yeah, I'll choose my words more carefully. But if I do upset you, I do apologise.
Don't.
So.
Don't. Just screw it.
When we look at movie reviewers, we think movie snobs.
Yes.
Yeah. So we think to ourselves.
I look at the people that couldn't get into the movie business, so they went to the second best thing.
Yeah.
Like teachers, those who can't do.
So we have this perception that they're these snooty people, and then you kind of like a couple of them, and you kind of follow their reviews, and then you can look in the Herald Sun, it's like, this got 0 stars because it says Star Wars, but it's a lack of stars and wars. This is shit. And it's like,
I mean, that's why we don't pay attention to the Herald Sun anymore, and amongst other reasons.
Dude, I'm like, yeah, well, that's dumb. But when it comes to video games, there's this weird perception of that, like, they're us. They're human just like us. They're just playing the game and they're just writing about it. There's no real talent there, and that's why I want to apologise. That's not how it is, but I think that's how some people perceive it. Yeah, nothing. They're just normal people that haven't done anything great to review or whatever. Like, whereas movie reviewers are held in such high regards that we actually tall poppy syndrome them and just like.
Well, that's a very Australian thing, yeah.
Fuck them. Like, who cares about them? But whereas like this, it's like, well, no, like, they're legit though. Like, they're real. Like, if they say it's a 7, well, it's not a perfect game. Like, why would I buy that? It's like, but what way is it a 7? And that's just a little like slice of the whole pizza there. Like, it's tricky to say what's going on, but in my eyes, that's what the core of the problem is, that we actually see these reviewers more as people than we do as a snooty movie reviewer.
Any ideas on the matter?
No.
Is it an issue that I mean, you look at the games that come out, and we get so many games that are scoring in the 8s, 9s, 10s sort of ballpark. Maybe they deserve it, maybe they don't. That when something doesn't quite match it with your, using some big examples, your God of Wars or your Halos or those sorts of things in the world, that, like, okay, these are 9s and 10s. So then when something's a 7, and we've got so many games that are in that top category that everyone just is far more harsh on a 7.
Yeah.
Is that kind of a thing at all?
Is it because, like, a 7,
or is it that we're just not using that scale properly?
I don't think they are. I think maybe a 7's still a great game, but what made it a 7? Was it bugs? Was it glitches? Was it
something
crashing?
that didn't work in the game?
Yeah, or is it the story's weak? Like, there's so much more to take in than Other reviews. Sorry.
There was a mission in Days Gone where you climbed up a tower and climbed down a tower. That was the whole mission. That was
there's a lot of actually really weird, like the mission structure of Days Gone is really weird in that you can, like, there's that one, then there's another case where you go to speak to someone, they tell you to fuck off, and then boom, mission complete. Like, what? Like, that was literally it. It was for that small cutscene where you got told to where to go.
Like they're just filling in missions with just pointless.
It's an achievement for beating 20 billion missions. That's what it is. You just got to talk to everyone.
Well, there's the Borderlands
that's not actually
mission.
But
there's the old Borderlands mission where you have to shoot the guy in the face, but that's just straight up there, done in a second.
Yeah.
Like, or
why not?
Punch me in the face. Punch me in the face.
But that's alright. They're trophies, and that's a whole meta, or trophies achievements. That's just a whole meta thing anyway. Like that's different to the core experience. They can be as good or as bad as they want there, and I just won't play a game unless it's got a really bad trophy list that has an easy platinum. But that's a whole other discussion for another day. Oh no, yeah, I kind of sit back and I think maybe like those, because we're getting so many games in that 8 to 10 ballpark, and we're gonna focus on the numerical scale because it's harder to then try and drag and drop. Player 2, for example's letter grades. Other people don't score at all,
or 1 to 5,
or 1. Yeah, like it's painful. So we'll focus on the main
rubber chickens.
Yeah, we'll go with the rubber chickens. Which who did that?
Good game.
Good game. Yeah, like those games in the 8 to 10 ballpark that are consistently in there, is that the reviewers aren't picking them apart like they should be. Like, is it? Well, some of their criticisms with the game, like a game that gets a 9 or a 10 should be basically flawless. That includes having this perfect story, excellent gameplay, and then the bugs and stuff just don't exist. Like, you're just not getting those sort of things. So then if bugs are present, and maybe they're small ones, maybe they're big game-breaking ones, but they actually really start to distract from the thing there. So you've got a few small little visual bugs, say the sort that kind of cause problems with, say, Assassin's Creed Unity, for example, or Mass Effect Andromeda. Then that's all of a sudden, you're yanking me from the immersion there.
Was there problems with 76 when it first came out?
Many problems with Fallout 76 when they first came out. But yeah, I think there might have been little things like that. But yeah, those sorts of problems should then maybe bring a game down to a 7s, and then if they're really if you've got those other issues as well, where the story's not as good.
If it's been updated, they could just readjust it to go, it got better. So like Unity, I think Unity got heavily sort of.
Yeah, No Man's Sky got slammed.
If that got reviewed now, that'd be a totally different story.
Yeah,
that's also one of the hardest things about it, is you kind of, when you review a game, you review it kind of in a vacuum. Like, it is what it is when you get it.
Yeah.
Days Gone was a weird one in that people were reviewing it before the day one patch even came out, and as someone who had it I think I had it 3 days before the game came out, and I started playing, like, I knew that I was never going to get the review done in time because they sent it to me so late. But thank you again, PlayStation. No, they've got different waves, and we were not in the press start, GameSpot, IGN sort of category.
We understand.
So hell, there was a third wave that they just sent out codes on the day of launch, which I somehow got one of those as well. I'm like, oh yes.
Wave 2 and 3.
I was in wave 2 and 3.
Wow.
Me as an individual in 3, and then player 2 where I got given the code in wave 2. So I lucked out there. So I don't know if I've still got that third code, but maybe I'll give it to one of you guys if it's still. I'll work it out.
I'll go. I would love to go to climb up a tower and back just to get it.
And go to see a guy who tells you to fuck off, only go, oh, okay, mission complete.
Walk here, mission complete. Yes.
No, it's a pretty solid game, but yeah, those are kind of weak moments. But yeah, I don't know. I think we're just not, or we reviewers, whatever, and that can be the gamers that are leaving their user reviews on your Metacritics and those sorts of things as well.
Does price come into it as well?
Yeah, people factor price in, and
for example, 76 with you pay.
I expect a certain amount. But I don't care about the price. I bought a particular edition of that game.
But you paid so much for it, and your little.
And then I tossed it.
Rant and I know it was not you. I think it was all of us who were just throwing it.
Yeah, we were just throwing it. I don't even know if the disc was in there, but we were tossing that shit. I just feel like the whole scale's not being used properly. So then when there is something that is a real buggy mess, it still gets like a 2 or a 3. Like, if this thing is a broken piece of shit, it should be getting 0s and 1s, similar to what movie reviewers will do if there's something that they consider to be abysmal. The other factor is I think it's really hard when it comes to games, because movies are a passive experience. You can't get bugs in them. Well, I suppose you could, in theory, but that would be filtered out through your preview screenings.
Watching the movie, you go into a seizure, eyes, bugs fly into your eyes. I thought Paul said this couldn't happen.
Their faces,
4D, mother.
their faces fall off. Like, whoa!
They just did a Mass Effect thing, like you're watching it, and their eyes
Start drifting apart.
What the fuck is going on? What's wrong with Thor?
Or they get stuck halfway in the floor.
I don't feel so good, and then someone just
Well,
starts
one thing was Mass Effect, yeah. I got stuck somewhere like Jen, and then Shepard was starting to slowly like stretch Armstrong was just slowly starting.
Oh yeah, this
Slowly, I'm
funny
going, what
bugs.
the hell is going on?
But the nature of the beast being like, you could get a bug in a game that I won't get.
Yeah.
You and I could
got no
hypothetically
bugs
both be
in my
reviewing.
Mass
You could have,
Effect.
yeah. I didn't get anything in my
Except
Mass
for
Effect
maybe
Andromeda.
that Keegan thing. That's just yours.
Oh yeah. In Andromeda, I got no bugs. I'm pretty sure Mass Effect 3 bugged out on me.
No, the ending is just that bad. That's all right.
That was.
The ending's fine.
Do endings matter? Go check that out.
Go check out the episode from last month.
Oh, definitely not 3, that's for sure.
But yeah, like you and I could, all three of us could be reviewing the same game, and you'll get bugs that I don't. Matt, gets no bugs at all, and so that totally colours our different opinion. Whereas a movie,
Or mine won't start.
we'll see the exact same thing,
Yeah.
and there's no hitches with it, and it's all subjective, and it's because computers
Unless like
are
the
doing
cinema,
stuff.
obviously, like there was like a shake, like an earthquake or something, and the camera shook a little bit or whatever. I'm just like there's minimal that can actually go wrong. Like the lens was
Except for
dirty.
a cup of coffee.
And that kind of means that if there's a fault in a game, in a movie, it gets picked up by everyone.
Yeah.
And the only thing that you've got left at that point that differentiates them is people whether they like the story or not. Really.
Yeah.
That's kind of where it is.
Well, maybe they need to break down games even further. Like there needs to be like absolute categories when reviewing it on that 10 scale. Like, okay, story, graphics, control, music, sound,
Some used to do that.
bugs.
Yeah,
Hyper.
that used to be...
Hyper used to do it.
Yeah, everyone used to do
Yeah,
it for a while then.
Hyper did, yeah, I
And then it
remember
was
that.
something that everyone kind of moved away from. I'm thinking in this day and age where people kind of rip these games apart, that maybe... And people still go back to ultimately Metacritic and they take the final score and then that gets compiled and whatever algorithm and it spits out the number. But
Or they just
realistically,
put
maybe
two-
yeah. But maybe people. There's lots of people that say IGN. They'll go to the review of the next big game
7
and
out of 10.
yeah, and maybe
Default.
it gets a 7 out of 10, or no, the 6.8 needs more water. No, 7.8 needs more water, or 7.8 Mario Kart Double Dash, which is just it's an abysmal review.
Maybe
for
they
Double
need to do
Dash.
patch reviews.
They did for a while. IGN anyway was revisiting some of their reviews and re-reviewing some games
Yeah,
after
like,
big
so-
fixes.
Yeah,
Um,
after day one patch, this and this and this was fixed.
Was it because
But this
of us?
actually?
Yeah, it was.
all us?
They did it only for Far Cry, New Dawn, and the other game that we spoke about, Division 2, the Ubisoft games. Maybe because people they get to their GameSpot or their IGN or whatever, and they just scroll straight down the bottom and they look at the number score and then they move on, which is not great because someone's put the time and effort into writing that review. But that's what happens.
Yeah.
Maybe in that review thing at the bottom, maybe they actually need to start, if they're going to review with a numerical score like that, maybe they need to start bringing back the old score, like your score for gameplay, your score for graphics, your score for this.
Control.
That way you can at least
Some Metacritic.
really pinpoint what your issues are. And I think the story is great. I think the gameplay is great.
Controls aren't great.
Technically, it's flawed in this way, and at least you can tell what's what, and there's no ifs, buts, maybes, or whatever. But it's a really tricky sort of thing because again, you've got people using a numerical score. You've got us using letter grades, and other people no scores, and
Or 1 to 5.
and rubber chickens, as you said before, and all those sorts of things.
They
It
even
means,
do music
hey,
on Metacritic.
yeah, Metacritic does music,
I've never even really
music, TV, games, movies. I think they're the only 4.
been all games.
He's taking a look at what the most current at the moment was. That a Plague Tale on top.
Plague Tale, 81. See, this is the other
And
problem.
that's a weird one.
74 is fucking is amber.
In their yellow section, yeah.
Amber, that's bullshit.
Which
Sorry.
I think ranges from
I think-
40 to 75.
Yeah, see, that's
And then
even
red is
worse.
39 or below.
That's dumb. Sorry, Metacritic. You gotta get your shit together. That's not how that should work. Instantly, people that see that go, "Oh, okay, it's not that great."
Well, because there's so much green when it comes to games. And that's where I think probably links back to the thing that maybe the scale is imbalanced, and we're not getting enough games that are like, if people genuinely think that Days Gone or Rage 2, for example, are just okay, then maybe they should be getting 5s rather than 7s.
Or maybe they should go to.
I don't agree with them.
Do wordings instead. Go okay. Or great, or good.
I think IGN still does that as well.
Do
they? If they give a game in the 7s, it's classified as good. Which I agree with that.
Yeah.
Like 7 out of 10 would be something you'd consider to be good.
6,
6 I think they say is kind of like fair or something like that. And then whatever phrase they use for their middling value. Like, I get it. Their terms actually make sense, and I think they've actually improved the way that they're.
What's he shaking his head?
They're
at?
Look, it's like Sonic Team Racing 73, right? Sonic Team Racing combines the best elements of arcade and fast-paced competitive style racing. That doesn't sound like 73 to me on your opening sentence. But then we've got Everybody's Golf VR, which is 75, and it's green. You're telling me that you couldn't find 100 shades of something to just continuously,
Yeah, you just go on the colour spectrum and just progresses from red to green, to the deepest red to deepest green.
Yeah. That makes no sense. Oh, I'm sorry. No, this is why I don't trust Metacritic and things like that.
Yeah, and I mean,
I'd rather go to Player 2.
That's a whole other thing.
Listen to passionate people discuss games.
Thankfully, we don't put our reviews on Metacritic. We're on OpenCritic, though. Go check that out. Far more integrity to that place, because we're there.
Same as Rotten Tomatoes, and it's like, it's got 0%. It's like, because the trolls hit it. Like,
well, there's the whole review bombing thing.
There was one movie they were trying to bomb. I can't remember what it was. I don't know if it was Captain Marvel or not, because they were trying to make another movie
Black Panther.
Oh.
But there was like A Star Is Born. There was in the movie at the same time. It was a bigger budget. It was going to get more money, and they bombed the other movie. So the other movie would be good.
Oh God!
In comparison, Jesus, yeah okay.
And then they turned out like, right, that's it.
Well, that's the other side of it, where you kind of get taxed. I mean, that's more the user review side, but the publisher.
Oh no, it might
have been tactics.
I think it was Venom. It might have been Venom.
Oh yeah, okay. I don't think
they were trying to bomb Venom.
I don't think anyone needed to bomb that to make it look worse, from what I've heard. But that's whatever. I haven't seen it.
We can discuss that and learn that another time.
We'll get back to you with our Venom cast.
No, it is. I just feel like there's a huge disconnection between what a score means. Like
the words and then the number that gets allocated to it.
Well, looking at that's just disgusting. I know that, some people are like, whatever. But to me, that's disgusting. Like, can you imagine putting in all that hard work into something and it's like, grouse, I'm in the yellow. And to me, that sounds like you're in danger. Like, warning, warning, warning. But then you go from 75 like down to 40 something.
75 to 74 to red.
It's just.
I mean, think about it in terms of the traffic rules. Yellow is kind of
green.
Proceed with caution.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not going to make it, stop. Like, you think about it. That's what it should be. But,
that's it.
But if you're getting a score of like it's more than 7 out of 10 in those cases, even by we keep going back to IGN, but their description is 7 out of 10 is good. So it doesn't, like the language that the reviewer's using, and I know Metacritic is its own entity and everyone else has their own reviewing scales that they work on and they just grab the scores and put it together. But yeah, it's this weird, painful disconnect between all the different parties that make it harder. Let's just stop reviewing games. Let's just play games.
Just say it's great.
We're in the age of the influencer.
Do testimonials.
Even if you're gonna, if you're gonna review something, I just think that there needs to be like that.
Where did Days Gone touch you? Here.
Like, especially because as you said, a video game is an experience that's like unique to everybody. There really needs to be those things in place to say, hey, like. So I received this bug and it did this. I don't know if it is everybody, the bugs encountered or like a bug counter. And then it's graphics. The graphics were fantastic for what it was trying to do. The art style, it's all brilliant. And then this, and you know what I mean? Like everything should be broken apart. But instead of just this general, the game was good, 7 out of 10. It's like, what?
Yeah, it doesn't tell you much. Reviews are still broken, as much as we want to think otherwise.
5 is good, you know what I mean?
I'd look at 5 and go, that's okay.
Yeah.
But that's
okay.
Okay, it's a middle
6
thing.
Is good then, 7 is it's pretty alright. 8 is like We're getting there. 9 is
great.
like, oh, damn. And then
Don't miss
number
this
10
and-
is excited Vince McMahon falling off his chair.
Any final comments on the matter?
Just review things yourself, or check trusted reviewers. Don't go by some score. Like,
Or that,
read
what's that
the review.
website? That N4G or whatever it is.
Oh, don't. N4G is a news boiler site where it just compiles stuff from
Don't ever
news
listen to
and
anyone.
reviews and everyone else. Like, it's got everything in there. Jeez.
Was there something that
Stephen and I copped a hammering just recently for our Days Gone comments, and we got called social justice warriors and all these sorts of things by a bunch of PlayStation fanboys that thought we hated the game. We were really positive. I asked him after we started seeing some of the comments, go, hang on, so we didn't put a score on this thing because it was kind of a conversational thing rather than a review.
Yeah.
I said, if you were reviewing this game right now, what would you give? He goes, oh, probably 7.5. I go, probably an 8 for me.
Yeah.
We liked the game. Everything that we had in there was
9 or 10
really
though,
good.
Paul. What the fuck?
And the thing that I did enjoy, and did you actually read through the comments? Some of the comments in there?
Bits and pieces of it. I just lost. I was like, what?
The occasional person pops up along the way, like, yep, typical N4G. No one actually read the article because like it's just been shared in there, and then there's people slamming it because Days Gone's copped a bit of negative rap from other people, so they're just expecting us to continue doing the same because anyone who writes about video games is a massive fuckwit. I kind of can be, but blah 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 blah, and then yeah. So the highlight was taking a look and seeing people say, and actually I think I screenshotted some of the comments for a bit of a chuckle. But yeah, some of them, they were sitting there going, well, you clearly just didn't read the piece at all, because if you did, they didn't say that whatsoever. I can't find it. I think I shared some of them on Twitter.
So what's this site called?
N4G.com.
N4G.
But while we're finding that, if you manage to find in the meantime, the probably best bet's actually to find some of the comments via my Twitter.
I don't even want to.
I shared them.
I just want to ban it from my searches.
Oh look, it's actually a pretty handy site in a lot of respects, but it's just here we go. Here's some of them. One of my highlight posts from someone called Spam and Jam. Wow, a lot of people clearly upset about an article they clearly didn't read about par for N4G, I suppose. In the weeks since launch, Days Gone has had a heavy bashing from leftists, journalists and social justice warriors alike, beset by technical issues and criticisms around the gruff nature and of its toxic white masculinity. Headline fixed. What? From Necrom Oddboy. And then AK91. This article isn't as bad as other social justice warrior ones, but it's obvious they have a bias towards Days Gone, although they're willing to acknowledge that the game isn't as bad as other journalists have claimed it to be. And I'm sitting back going, hang on, I'm the biggest, dirtiest PlayStation fanboy in the fucking world, and you're sitting back saying that I've got a bias against them. Fuck right off. So, I mean, even when it comes to people actually sitting there and consuming reviews and those sort of things, they just don't get it. You're skimming through the whole thing now. You'll see one of my comments right near the very end in one of my other accounts. You'll see Matt comment in there once or twice. But my highlight one,
Dark Nightmare. Does this author not check across social media to see that the reception from gamers who bought the game has been overwhelmingly positive and in no way mixed?
And did you
asking you, did you read the article? Because there were two authors and they both go on to say they're enjoying it and that the reviews were most likely made worse because of the need for reviewers to play the whole thing in a short period of time. Yeah,
my real highlight was at the very end. I've got a couple of accounts because Matt shares the articles on there because it helps get traffic through the door.
Yeah.
And then there's like an approval process before it gets there to make sure people aren't putting up spam. So I've got a couple of accounts to kind of help bolster that up. N4G, you know nothing of it. But then... so one of them I just posted in there just trolling after seeing all these people commenting going, well, I played the game for 2 hours and I think it's a 10 out of 10 just to rile people up a little bit more. Lots of downvotes for that one. Surprise, surprise. Who'd have thought?
Jesus, Paul.
From some anonymous account just to have a bit of fun with it. So if you're an N4G user and you've seen that comment, you now know which one's me. While Matto's seeing if there's any other highlights, we'll wrap this thing up.
Damo,
I
was looking at your Final Fantasy one just to see.
Oh, yeah. Is there any comments on that?
There's 6, but there's nothing terrible.
Oh, really?
There's one that says they better announce Final Fantasy 7 soon. We've never gone this long without seeing any info on the next mainline Final Fantasy title.
16, right? Yeah, okay. There's some interesting stuff in there that brings out the best and worst in people. Damo, you are on the internet at
Tacos Talks.
Meadow_Phil.
Paul James Games, and the website's Player2AU. Visit the website, our E3 hub. Well, E3's been and gone as of when you're seeing this, but there's still plenty of articles and opinion pieces and news
Always
coming
fun
out of the
to catch
event.
up.
So
There's something you might have missed that these lads picked up.
yeah, and we compiled a whole lot of it. Hopefully we put together this kind of funny sort of Gogglebox style episode that we discussed in the last one that we recorded, because I'm really in on that idea now that you've brought it up. But make sure to visit the website player2.net.au for all those reviews and previews and opinion pieces and E3 bits and pieces. Like, share and subscribe. Smash the bell. Already done Twitter, patreon.com/player2au. Kick in a few bucks, and at lower tiers you get early access, higher tiers you get monthly exclusives. Subscribe and share all those things on podcast services, and until next time, that's it for our this batch of recordings. We'll see you next time with the new patch updates.
Shaka bra.